Everything around us, from a stone to a cloud, is made of matter. Matter is everything that has mass and occupies space. It may seem simple, but behind that idea lies an entire universe of invisible structures. If we could magnify a drop of water millions of times, we would see that it is composed of molecules, and each molecule is made up of atoms. These atoms are not indivisible, as the ancient Greeks once believed. Inside them we find protons and neutrons in the nucleus, and electrons orbiting around it. Protons have a positive charge, electrons a negative charge, and neutrons, as their name suggests, are neutral. The way these particles combine and organize gives rise to all the elements that exist in the universe. When several atoms join together, they form molecules. For example, 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 of oxygen form a molecule of water. And that same process, repeated billions of times, builds everything we can see, touch, or breathe. Matter can exist in different states: solid, liquid, gas, or plasma. Ice, for example, can melt into liquid water, evaporate into vapor, and condense again into drops. In all these changes, matter does not disappear, it simply changes form. And behind every change is energy, which is the capacity to produce transformations. Without energy, nothing would move, grow, or exist. There are many forms of energy: mechanical, thermal, electrical, chemical, and nuclear. But all of them can transform into one another. For example, when we turn on a light bulb, electrical energy is transformed into light and heat energy. When we eat, our body transforms the chemical energy from food into mechanical energy to move. And when the sun shines, it releases an enormous amount of nuclear energy that travels to Earth in the form of light and heat. The law of conservation of energy tells us that energy is neither created nor destroyed, only transformed. It is the same energy that has been circulating through the universe since the Big Bang. This deep connection between matter and energy was described by Albert Einstein in his famous equation, E equals mc squared. It teaches us that matter can be converted into energy, and energy into matter. The most visible example is the sun. Its light and heat come from nuclear reactions where a small amount of matter is converted into a large amount of energy. That same equation explains both the energy of a star and the energy released in a nuclear power plant. That is why understanding the relationship between matter and energy allows us to understand how the universe works. And on our planet, it also has direct consequences. It makes us reflect on how we use energy and where we get it from. Renewable sources, such as the sun, wind, and water, harness natural transformations without depleting the planet's resources. On the other hand, non-renewable sources, such as oil and coal, release carbon dioxide and worsen climate change. Everything in the universe is made of matter and sustained by energy. Both are 2 sides of the same coin, woven into the structure of the cosmos. Understanding this relationship means understanding that we are part of the same energetic fabric that gives life to the stars. On the blog, you can find the complete diagram and an expanded article that delves deeper into this fascinating topic.